Hello, my loves, and welcome to this energy update, crystal channeling, and guided healing that I am leading you through today. So, if you have been feeling in this past while this kind of low-level, controlled state of panic, if you have been feeling really despondent and downed, if you have been feeling a heightened sense of anxiety, confusion, lack of clarity, uncertainty about yourself, your purpose, your path, even your value or contribution in this world. If all of a sudden you're not fully clear in terms of where you're headed in your life, your directions, your goals, everything just seems to be falling away, not working, feeling blah, out of alignment. Like you're stuck in some kind of limbo, or as the crystals described in one of my healing circles earlier today, like you're just kind of you're a boat listing on the surface of the water, and you're not moored, and you're not really moving anywhere, but you're also not anchored into anything either. If you're feeling any of this, you are not alone. A lot of us are going through this right now. And I'm going to get into the reasons why. There's an outer collective reason with certain amounts of interference, but there's also something internal, really powerful that's happening for us spiritually that we can work through to get us back into center, get us back into alignment, and get us back into flow. So now, first of all, if you are new to me, new to this channel, new to my work, hello. I have been a full-time crystal healer and medium for 20 years. I started in New York City. I built up a very successful practice there. I was there for about 15 years, and I moved out of the city and to the North Shores of Lake Erie. In the past number of years, my work has evolved from what I would call traditional crystal healing methods, so laying on of stones, doing healing layouts and work on the body, guiding people through meditations, etc., to channeling the spirit consciousness and light code medicine of crystals. And that has been a massive evolution in my own work with crystals, as well as in my own personal healing process. And so the healing work that I'm going to be guiding you through today is in channeling those crystalline light codes to help you. So if you're interested in engaging in that healing, I recommend that you press pause and go grab yourself a clear quartz crystal, any shape, size, formation. Lemurian seed is a plus or a bonus, and then any grounding crystal that is in your keeping, any grounding or centering crystal that is in your keeping. And I will explain later in the video why specifically we're working with these two crystals today and weaving their frequencies and their light codes to help bring us back into alignment, into center, and into the flow of things. But first and foremost, I'm going to begin to channel through my Lemurian seed crystal. I'll let you take a look at this. This is a beauty. This is my Lemurian tabular, what I call my tabular Lemurian seed. Hopefully that's in focus there and you can see it. This Lemurian seed is a teacher crystal for me. It helps me channel the teachings, the wisdoms, the memory of the ancient Lemurian civilization. It also helps me to channel star codes. I will put this crystal out under a moonless night when the stars are bright so that it can become activated and download that ancient star memory and higher divine guidance. And then I'll sit out under my ginkgo tree in the morning in the garden, the ginkgo tree, which is the tree of memory, and I begin to channel and receive those teachings. It is very, very aligned with divine light and higher purpose. So as I come into channeling through this crystal, so first and foremost, what I see and what it's showing me is it's showing me a river, and a river that forks. Okay, so it breaks off into two different directions. Now, this is symbolic. This is something that I was shown today earlier in our healing circle. And what it is saying to me is there are two things essentially in essence, that we are experiencing right now. As mentioned earlier, one of them is the energy of the collective. The human collective at large is feeling a lot of what you're feeling, dear one. And this is because we have been experiencing and witnessing massive and catastrophic change. And it's happening very, very, very quickly. And they're saying, to be truthful, the changes that we are seeing and witnessing out in our world have been quietly and quite for a long time, being constructed, built, planned, put into action long before what we're seeing now. But now they're being introduced into the world, and they're being introduced very quickly. And it's happening at a time where people are already in fear. It is happening at a time when people are already feeling ungrounded. They're already feeling uncertain about the world and life. They're tired. They're stressed. It's like we keep getting hit with big stress event after big stress event. And it's saying this is both collectively true, but also individually true. And so that's going to be landing and resonating for a lot of you. The other thing is there is, yes, dark force, if you will, for lack of a better term, interference, okay? Darker energy interference. That is impacting, that is amplifying this, but is also, feeding off the energy of this, for lack of a better term. Because while most people out there will talk about how dark energy or dark spirits feed off of light, this is not true. Light repels darkness. Light repels darkness. This is why we work with light to do clearings. This is why we work with higher frequency energy to do clearings. Like attracts like. Darkness feeds off darkness. So the more that we are stirred up into states of fear, uncertainty, anxiety, anger, and not the type of anger that's healthy, that is signaling to you that there's hurt, that's signaling to you that there are boundaries, but the type of anger we are exercising out of ourselves and projecting onto others, that's when it becomes harmful. So darker energy feeds off of this, and it's not something to be fearful of, because that's kind of like just giving more food to the dark, angry, hungry bear. It's about understanding that we're in an energy conversation. When you come into an energy conversation, dear one, this is when you come back into your mastery. This is when you come back into your power. Okay, this is energy. Well, every frequency of energy has its opposite. So if I no longer wish to experience this energy, what is the opposite energy that I need to build up within? Because as I build that up within myself, that patterns out into my energetic field, and the darker energy has two choices. It either has to transmute and become higher light energy itself in order to enter my field, or it has to get out of here. It gets repelled. And so they're saying that's the first thing we wish for you to be very clear on. However, for those of you who are feeling completely disconnected from spirit, from higher states of consciousness, from your crystals, what is happening? What is going on? The answer is, and they showed me this again earlier today, is it's a light body issue. And this is in part in response to the greater active solar energy, which is triggering evolution, ascension energy on this planet, even within the core of this planet, because this planet is also going through this shift, but also within us. That's one part. Here's the second part of the diagram that they showed me of this river that goes in two forks. That timeline divergence. Back at the end of May, beginning of June. Remember, the timelines converged and then diverged. The people who consciously, unconsciously, but on a soul level, made the decision that they're ready for the new earth. They're ready for a better world. They're ready to evolve, to elevate, to expand in their own state of consciousness. They're ready genuinely for a life of greater harmony, kindness, good, plenty for all. they went down one of those timelines. The other ones were still stuck in the old constructs, the old paradigms, the old ways of being. We do not judge them. Everyone chooses the direction they choose based on where they are on their personal timeline, in their process, in the evolution of their souls. Eventually, we'll all get there. Eventually, we'll all get back to source. But it is what it is. For those who chose that other timeline, they're going to continue to go down that negative spiral. It's like that other river either comes up against a waterfall, which is going to suck, but it's an awakening. It'll hurt, but it'll suck. Or a type of whirlpool, if you will. But here we are, aligned with that left fork, if you will, which is gradually heading towards, again, what we'll call the new earth, the new world that we are birthing. Now, here's where you'd think, well, shouldn't things be getting better? Yeah, but there are parts of ourselves, old stories, old constructs, old wounds, old patterns, old ways of thinking or being that are no longer in resonance with that path. And they have to fall out. They have to clear away, which means that some of you, or perhaps a lot of you, are going to be experiencing what we can call personality die-off. And that's where all of a sudden you're losing your sense of self. Who am I? Things are changing. I don't know who I am anymore. I don't know where I'm going, because essentially your old guidebooks, the things you use to sort of identify yourself or ways of coping in this world or being, are starting to fall away. Now that can create panic for some people because they're afraid of what they might lose. But as the crystals always say, and as they're saying now, what the soul chooses, the soul keeps. You never have to worry about letting go of something you love. What you are letting go of in this process is what no longer serves you. And some of that is conscious choice, and some of that is happening unconsciously and is patterning out of your energetic field, and it's contributing to why you're feeling the way you are feeling. But what is happening right now for a lot of us is the new part of our light body that we are grounding in, that we are downloading, that new part of our soul matrix that's coming in is getting stuck. It's not fully coming in because of this darker, heavier energy that is impacting. And so it's keeping us in this stuck place inside, in this limbo, in this place of stasis. And it's also contributing to us not feeling like we can connect spiritually anymore. Now, for some of you, you may be feeling all of that, but also feeling like you've got dark energy interference that you're just not able to clear. So if even after this work today, you still feel like you can't come into alignment, then it may be time to consider booking a session with someone, getting some help, talking it out with a therapist or a trusted friend. I do offer private sessions as well. You can book with me so that you can get back into center, get back into flow, get back into a new rhythm, a new way of being. It's almost like you're coming into a fresh new self, like into a brand new car. You're still going to know how to drive. You're still going to have to go to your job in it each day. But there's a difference, there's a change, there's a lightness. There's a reaffirmed certainty of who you are and where you are going. And what they are saying is this process of healing is really a becoming. And it's not happening through strategic direction. It's like a drift. We're drifting into the new us, the new way we are, this new timeline, this new direction. You may very well find that what you thought you were going to be doing for the next 10 years all of a sudden is changing, but it'll be changing to something better. It'll be changing into something that is more in alignment or more in service for you now. So what is this going to require of you? How are you going to get this light body fully integrated for yourself and clear off this old gunk so that you can get back into your flow and so you can move forward. And what the crystals say is integration. That's the first thing. And how does the integration happen? Through surrender. We have to come completely out of inner resistance, and we have to surrender. We have to allow, and we have to trust that the drift is happening. And I felt that for a couple of you. As soon as you heard that and went into that energetic state, I felt your light body come in. Yeah, I'm talking to you. I felt that. That was real. That happened. Okay. But most of us here are still going to need some help with this. So what I'm going to invite you to do is I'm going to invite you to take hold of your crystals, your clear quartz, and whatever grounding crystal has sung to you, because that's your integration crystal. And I'm hoping I didn't just scratch my glasses right now with my crystal. Good. No, I didn't. And close your eyes. And remember, this is going to be a different way of working. And first and foremost, we're going to set a safe space to be held as we do this work together. And whenever I am holding space, whenever I am setting safe and clear spaces, I work with crystalline sacred geometry, and we are working with the dodecahedron that just came in today. And so I am calling in the high divine shape of the dodecahedron to surround, hold, and protect us all as we do this work in the now and in the future now. Blocking out any and all lower harmful interference or frequencies that are not of service to us, with the intention of this working in alignment with our soul, higher selves, path, and purpose. Now, that it hold for the remainder of this video. And now I'm going to guide you through some quick centering breathing, because when we drop down into our soul, that's where we first come out of resistance. We come out of mind, out of limiting mind. We come back down into our power seat. And so quickly, just imagining that you are inside a balloon in your mind. And as you inhale, you're creating spaciousness within, and as you exhale, you're letting some air out of that balloon, and it gently starts to float down inside of you, taking you with it. Inhaling spaciousness. On the exhalation, letting that balloon drop. Inhaling spaciousness. Exhaling and letting that balloon drop. And even if you don't know where your center is, just go to where you imagine it may be. And just settle into that space. And here we're just going to relax. We're going to rest. There's nothing else you need to do. It's the beauty of the work that I do now and that I teach people to do now in my healing quests, in my mystery school. All you need to do is show up with a crystal, receive the channel teaching, and then let yourself be guided through the work, because the magic happens between you and the crystal every time. And with this work, we work at a cellular level. And so from your center, bring your awareness, just expand your awareness to the two crystals in your hand. Now, your quartz crystal is full of light and energy. And that crystal, we're going to invite in its spirit, its consciousness, its energy to flow in, its quantum energy of light to flow in. And let that flow all through your body. That quickening, that heightening. And that's going to begin to weave its frequencies gently around your light body. Creating a unifying matrix of energy. Activating your cells, increasing their vibration. And then the consciousness codes that are carrying in your DNA and letting those multi-dimensional fields expand. And now, your grounding crystal, whatever it may be, inviting in its spirit, its consciousness, its quantum healing energy of light. And we're going to ask the energy of your grounding crystal to flow all through your body, expanding out into your energetic field. And to clear and transmute by drawing down through a channel into the earth anything in your energy body and your energetic field that is outdated, that is stagnant, that is blocking you or holding you back. And again, just fully be in surrender. Let the energy take it. The beautiful thing about crystals are their stable frequencies, but also their ancient consciousness. They've been around for a long time. When we tap into them, we tap into a constant, we tap into a certainty, but we also tap into universal light frequencies that are here to help activate and heal us. Breathe deeply and just observe. See if you can see or feel or imagine things being cleared out. It could be symbolic. It could be, for some of you too, that there's a truth inside that needs to be heard. If so, consider welcoming it. What have you been carrying for a long time that you know isn't working? Isn't making you happy? What if energetically you just let it go? Because here's what happens when we come out of resistance, when we come out of clinging. We create the space for the energy to flow again, for spirit to find us, for new doorways and windows of opportunity to open that we couldn't see because we were too invested in the thing that's been dragging us down. Because what the crystals are saying is that on the other side of this work is the dream. And the invitation to dream again, to vision, to find yourself in a renewed state, with a renewed sense of purpose, direction, and connection in this moment. Let everything go and just be. And now as that clearing happens, the threads of quartz light weaving around your light body gently begin to usher and guide it in. Feel that drop in. Let it happen. Let that light energy flow through every limb, every organ, every cell of your being. And we ask the quartz energy to please clear your channels. To open you to the voice of your intuition again. And to activate your pineal gland for higher receptivity with discernment. Working with the flower of life as a net that only the light frequencies can pass through. Feeling the light energy fully anchor back into you again. And you anchor back into you again. They're saying what you need to embrace, dear one, is flow. Even if it's slow, even if it's gentle. Even if you're letting something go and letting a new something come in. Let the whispers come back. The inner whispers of your soul. Of the muses and of your heart. Know that even if you're drifting, the drifting is becoming. Don't force it. Allow. Always with discernment. And always from a place of sovereignty. Know that as the outer paradigms fall, aligned crystalline structures of light will take their place. You haven't made a mistake. You're where you need to be. Be open to the adventure of new discovery. And in this moment, fully embrace and love yourself no matter what. For you do have a calling, and it will be answered. You just had to come back into integration again. And so now take a deep breath. Thank your grounding crystal for its help, its support, its allyship, and invite its spirit, its consciousness, its energy to flow back into itself. And then thank your quartz for its light, its spirit, its consciousness, its service, and allow its energy to flow back into itself. remember that you are on that river. Its current will bring you to where you need to go. Surrender within, rest, listen deeply, and trust. Anchor into yourself every day. Keep your energetic field clear. And keep making the loving choice. And if you feel that you need more support, I do have a healing circle coming up at the end of this week. We'll be channeling the light codes, the spirit, energy, and medicine of bloodstone and other earth crystals to anchor us into the bedrock, to revitalize our energy, to bring our sense of purpose, certainty, and direction back again. So if you feel that that could be of additional support to you, or if a private session could be of additional support to you, I will drop those links down in the description right now. And I thank you for engaging in this work today. I thank you for being you. And I look forward to sharing more with you next week as we continue along this journey. Blessings be, dear one.